Ready? Play.
Hello.
Well, hello there. Are you sick of me yet? For
yet.
those of you who may have come straight here from WTA Weekly, which finished about 2 hours ago, and you see wonderfully previewed in the show in that intro, I've just come off from recording that with John. Maybe after this match is finished, you can go back and find out our thoughts on that. But I thought I'd join my good friends Anastasia and Miles for a chat about the WTA Finals and continue the conversation as the players are warming up for between Elena Rybakina and Jessica Pegula in this opening match, which we'll see. Which I think, Anastasia, I've said this sort of coming straight out of WTA Weekly, I think this match will decide which of these two gets out of the group.
Same. I think so too. I'm hoping Pegula can kind of sort of follow her good US Open. She won a title during the Asian swing. So I'm hoping she can bring that sort of energy to this match. She does have strapping on her shoulder, a little bit of KT tape there. So let's see how that goes. And Rybakina hasn't played for a while. When was the last time Rybakina played?
Beijing,
Beijing, right?
Yeah.
So
to be fair, Pegula's not played since Korea, which was a couple of weeks back. So it's only like a week sooner than week extra.
Right. So excited to see how it goes. Again, look at that. It's a fully standing stadium that hasn't fallen over yet. People in the audience. Hopefully it grows. Excited for the WTA Finals.
I think we should.
Hey everybody.
Hey Miles.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
I
great.
can. Yeah. But
looks like Rybakina is starting us off in the very first edition of WTA Finals in Cancun. Excited about that, I guess.
Yes.
Starting off in what sense?
Would you say?
In what sense? Do you mean like that she's playing the first match, or is there like something significant?
Yeah, I think her serve is one of the best weapons on the WTA tour. To kind of see it be the very first thing we see in singles action for the WTA Finals is nice. And I'm not sure she didn't qualify in 2022, and she didn't qualify in 2021 either. So this is her debut, right?
This is her debut. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting, and she's very bright in debut. With this red and yellow dress.
That she is. Anastasia's making a face.
Oh, there was a bug on court that Pegula was swatting away, and I was like, a bug.
I'm being privy to Lindsay Davenport and Shonda Rubin coverage very low in my ear, and they're talking about obviously the courts being brand new as of a couple days ago.
Does that mean they're going to be fast or slow?
She just mentioned the word sticky because the paint has just been laid down, so there really hasn't been much wear and tear at all on it. So think about it as like the very first couple days of Wimbledon before they let people practice on it, but not slick, just sticky because of the paint, I guess.
So there's a good chance these courts are going to evolve over this week, essentially, and there isn't going to be
depending on like the conditions, like
benefit.
sun. Yeah, like if the court is getting baked when the players are not on it, then that's going to impact the way the speed of the court and the speed of the play goes too for the rest of the week. So we'll see.
I should point out, though, that is not any different from other tournaments in the sense of every single tournament is freshly redone before the tournament starts. The only difference is this was done so soon to the competition start, so they didn't have that much practice time on it because, you know, let's just use the US Open as an example. All those courts are freshly done before the tournament, but then the players come in and practice on it. So I don't think I mean, again, it was done, everything was finished so close to the start of the tournament that it will have much less wear than it usually should have.
I remember the Tennis Channel giving us a flashback of the Pegula and Rybakina match in Guadalajara at the end of last year, 2022. I remember that match. Pegula saved a couple of match points and went on to lift the trophy.
What is their head-to-head?
2-1 Pegula.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They played again they played again in Miami earlier this year, and Rybakina won that one.
Okay. Well, Rybakina has held serve here, so let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I was saying to Anastasia, and Anastasia and I were both agreeing that we feel that the winner of this match is probably the one that's getting out the group.
I need to take a look at the group. The group, including these two players, Rybakina and Pegula, it's also Sabalenka and Sakkari. Yes. I mean, I haven't actually voiced this out into the tennis atmosphere. I've just kind of typed it, but I'm rooting for Pegula. Yeah, I'm rooting for Pegula and Sakkari to come out of their groups. Not that I have it against anybody else in this group, but I'm rooting for Pegula and Sakkari. Just because I want to see the chaos.
Sakkari's got a great record WTA Finals. You know, she does. She got up. She's what? She's played 6. She's made 8 matches and won 5. You know, she's been in the semi-finals of both times she's entered before. Got out the group unbeaten last time. Has beaten Sabalenka in both years she's played this tournament. Like, she comes alive at this event.
Yeah,
I love the fact that
a great Mexican following. So if the crowd comes out for her, that would also be cool.
I love the fact that the WTA Finals, of course, you get your like absolute legends winning the event, like players that have already established themselves as Grand Slam contenders. But I do love the subsector of champions at the WTA Finals, where this is sometimes the biggest trophy of their careers. Think about Agnieszka Radwanska, Caroline Garcia is the biggest title of her career. Somebody like Dominika Cibulkova a couple years back. Like if you aren't gonna, you know. So Elena, yes, that's the biggest title on her resume as well. I love that subsector of players that kind of, you know, hold this trophy really highly, knowing it's the best highlight of their career thus far. And sometimes it ends up being the biggest highlight, but sometimes they go on to do more. So I like kind of seeing where it goes.
Yeah, they tend to be, this tournament tends to be won by players who are able to consistently perform, regardless of sort of how they play. You know, you can always bet that they're somewhere in the mix at a tournament and get a decent run at most tournaments they play. Like Radwanska always used to do that. Svitolina it has a reputation for doing that. You know, Garcia less so, but Barty definitely did. So yeah, I think it's no surprise to me that maybe the one who's kind of able to keep up with the daily grind of the tour the best is the one that's winning it, considering the format of the event kind of is a microcosm of that.
Especially if you lose. I think it's fascinating because I think Serena did it. I think the biggest example is Serena losing to Simona Halep at the 2014 finals, and losing badly, and then having to recuperate, win the rest of her matches in the group to get to the semifinal stage, and then face Simona Halep again and beat her. I think it's interesting how you usually, when you lose, you go on to the next tournament, or you get into your hotel, get on your plane, and go on to the next tournament. But in this one, you really have to regroup and continue to play and put out effort. So I think that's fascinating.
Absolutely. Actually, speaking of losing, I want to get your guys' perspective on this. What do you think of the fact that the WTA Finals provides ranking points even if you lose a match? Anastasia's not sure about this.
Yeah, I just don't get that. I saw this posted a while ago, and I remember thinking of it, and I was like, so you get a consolation prize? I don't know, because so there are two veins of thought there, because you're basically, what you're saying is, like, if you are in the top 8, you get to the finals, you get to sort of stay in that top 8. You'll get points no matter what. So there's that, but at the same time, it just doesn't happen any other time during the season. So why? It's almost you can an unfair advantage. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. I don't outright disagree with it, but I definitely don't like it.
I mean, I understand both of those schools of thought. I lean on being okay with it, just because I feel like it is an achievement that deserves some level of recognition on the WTA, especially considering that they don't have as many tournaments as their counterpart, the ATP, and then because of the lack of tournaments, they have less points on offer. So the fact that you are getting that kind of extra padding of points just by qualifying because of your great results throughout the season, I think it makes sense to me. It's an incentive to do well throughout the season, and then also it makes sure that, like, just because you've had a great season, that your beginning of the next season doesn't necessarily totally tumble, because you have, a hankering of points toward the tail end of the season that you can kind of hold on to. So I don't hate it. I think there's a science behind it.
Yeah, and there's an element of, like, maybe it helps that the WTA is trying to do it to kind of build up an elite group at the top, which they've been kind of struggling to get a consistent grouping there.
That's what it seems like keeping that 8 together, so you always get points. But yeah.
Break point, by the way. Pegula's already saved one on my screen. I think you guys might be ahead, but
no, I'm behind.
Okay,
I'm behind because on my stream she just got break points, so
okay,
I haven't even seen her.
On my screen, she's preparing for return serve on the second break point.
Interesting. Okay, so I've just seen a winner being hit by Elena Rybakina to save the second break point. The scoreboard, of course, is ahead of all of us.
Yes.
But yeah, just a little bit of drama early on for Rybakina, and JPEG is not going to be a walkover. Jake in the chat is supporting her, but Pegula's not going to be a walkover this match. It's going to be we know from their head-to-heads, this is going to be a competitive battle, and maybe the stodginess of this court's going to help Pegula out.
I love that word, stodginess.
But also, I've just watched, through this game at least, and also the last game, like, some of Rybakina's forehands have just been, like, everywhere, like, just way out. So I don't know if she's getting used to it or getting used to sort of the surface and the speed of the court as well. But from her end too, I think it can't just be the court. She's just been, like, she has
a lot of their ground strokes I'm seeing are just going kind of directly towards the middle. I don't want to say it seems like a practice session, because there's a little bit more intensity to that, but it seems like they are getting adjusted to their conditions, surroundings, and the speed and play of the court and bounce of it, which I can't blame them for, because they essentially just got to Cancun, and the arena and the stadium must have given them the green light to actually practice on it yesterday, the day before that. So that's not a whole bunch of time. I feel like we're going to get that in the early stages of matches for the first couple of days of the week. Just people getting their bearings.
And if the conditions are going to evolve, and they're going to evolve dramatically, maybe whoever wins this tournament is going to be the one who is the most adaptable to whatever's going on, who has the ability to deal with changing conditions, changing situations, to learn everything the quickest. Which, that's going to be very fine margins, because all of these players are very, very good at that.
Yeah.
And who's steadier too, like whose literal shot production can be done over and over again and keep the ball in court, which is half of the advantage in tennis, keeping the ball in court. So who can do that the most?
That's going to be Jessica Pegula, isn't it?
Or Maria Sakkari. That's why I've kind of
Sakkari.
had my antennas on both of them.
Yeah, very consistent hitters. Both like it in Mexico, as you were pointing out in chat in WTA Weekly earlier.
Question for you guys. If you guys had to produce a serve, not necessarily the effectiveness of it or like the accuracy of it, but just like the aesthetics of how you would want to go up into your service motion, who would you take, Jessica Pegula or Rybakina?
I need to watch Pegula's service motion.
Did you say
what
Pegula?
was your take, Anastasia?
No,
I said definitely.
Go on, Anastasia.
Well, I'm just going to say definitely not Rybakina. That's all I was going to say.
Is it because it's just so static? Like she sort of does that twist and then goes.
Yeah, I just don't like. Okay, let's be honest. I don't like anything about her game. Like anything. She's a tough watch for me. Like I have to like watching the other player to watch a match that she's in.
I feel that you share the sentiment. I made this remark earlier in WTA Weekly. I can't envision the Cancun crowd, if it really gets raucous, I can't envision them really embracing Rybakina, because I feel like it's a very two-way street. What is she going to give the crowd for the crowd to kind of amp up the moments in the match? So that always plays into my mind when I watch her play. Like, what other levels and dynamics are we going to get from Rybakina outside of the really, really good things that she does? Even Pegula's leaned in a little bit more this season into getting into the crowd and kind of using some of that energy to produce better tennis.
Yeah.
I'm watching the service motion of Pegula now, and yeah, it's a much smoother motion. So that's definitely the one I would prefer. Although, having said that, if you watch my service motion is very odd, because it kind of starts up here and then I swing my arm around like that. Sort of over. Yeah,
nobody's serve is the same. Maybe unless your last name is Pliskova and you're related.
Unfortunately, I'm not. But I don't know why I don't know why I do that. I just think it's interesting. But yeah, I over rotate. I don't know why I'm saying that. So I'm basically saying I have a weird surface motion, so I can't talk.
But it's so interesting though, because you would take Pegula's service motion, but I don't think you would take the effectiveness of her serve over Rybakina's.
No, like
exactly. So that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually quite like Rybakina's ruthless efficiency, to be honest, in the way that she goes about it. Like she can hit a forehand. It doesn't need to be near the line. It will just go through the core. The serve, very effective. And obviously her ice queen demeanor, I find incredibly admirable. There's aspects of Roger in those things. As a long-time fan of his game, that I kind of see. Maybe not necessarily the same level of crazy creativeness that he has, but that ruthless efficiency, I can't help but sit back and admire.
I don't know if I would call it ruthless. I think it is efficient, but I don't know if I would use the word ruthless to describe anything about Rybakina. I think her game and ground strokes are very penetrative. Like she hits with a decent amount of pace to dictate, but in regards to like comparing what I see as far as intensity in Roger Federer playing at his peak and then Rybakina playing at her peak, or playing at the peak of her powers that we've seen so far, there was always a little bit of a smoldering intensity behind Roger Federer's eyes, even if he was calm in the moment and wasn't really doing too many demonstrative things. Whereas with Rybakina, I don't see the fire. I'm obviously sure that she wants to win, because she's not out there just for, patty cakes and giggles, but I do like seeing a certain amount of like intensity and fire that is pretty obvious in a player's eyes, and I don't get that out of Rybakina. So it does paint the question, like, is it? Is it important and imperative to you to win this match? Is it? I'm sure it is, but it just makes me question. You know,
I can see that. By the way, fantastic lob from Pegula to win that point, which I'm seeing multiple times on the replay. That's absolutely brilliant.
great
She wins the
scrambling.
game. Like runs it down, picks it up, and it's just too good. Rybakina can't pick it off, and she's dug that point and won the game. Really good from Pegula there.
Pegula deserves a little bit more credit for being a pretty good scrambler. She has good anticipation out there.
So the double's right. That's probably going to help with that.
Yes.
Watching there's just lots of replays going on here of Rybakina coming to net to finish that forehand off.
Nick, you don't think she could have got that lob?
Sorry?
You don't think she could have got that lob?
No, I don't think so. I think it was too high and traveling at too much of a trajectory for her to chase down. It would have been really difficult. No, I'm going to say that was a really, really good lob from JPEG. Or Jessie. I don't know what you want to affectionately name her as. That's the first name that comes to my mind.
JPEG reminds me way too much of a file that I was
That's why she's called
playing with on my computer. I know, but I don't like thinking her as a file on my computer.
You don't have fond emotions when it comes to thinking about computer files?
Not really. No, not really. I think of editing and stuff of that nature. The boring stuff, the monotonous stuff. I don't know. I just call her Pegula. I know it's kind of basic, but I have a joke about her that I reserve for my group messages. I won't say on air.
Oh my word. Okay, yes, probably.
It's actually it's pretty. It's not derogative. I'll just say it. It's put her in the quarters, Pegula, because you can put her in the quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty positive. Now, I don't know about
WTA Finals. She's
exactly
used to being in the last eight of everything.
Yep. Put her in the quarters.
I think Jessie is the name that she is known by, though. I think maybe some
Jessie works too.
Yeah.
Jessie works.
Yeah. I like what Kren is saying in the chat. Like, and you know, it all goes to personal personal preference. That's the good word. Thank you, Nick. See, he always saves me. That's why Nick's my podcasting host, because he always knows what I'm trying to say. But it's personal preference, and she definitely has a laid back winning attitude about her that personally doesn't get me going, but I'm sure some people, you know, enjoy that sort of thing. Just as, you know, he compares her to Nishikori, I could care, you know, I don't really care about Nishikori's style of play on court. So it definitely is a personal preference thing.
Spoken like a true Rafa fan and a true Carlos fan.
Yes.
You want that Spanish fire.
Yes.
I like spice. I like spice too. I like spice in pretty much everything. My food, my tennis players, all of that.
I want to feel something.
Yes.
That's why, you know, most of that's why I love Arina Sabalenka. You feel everything with her. So sometimes not for the good, because you just want her to calm down a little bit, but that's why I love her.
It's Leylah Fernandez for me. I think that she's
Leylah
the one
with the little
the fist pump, but the hopping up and down and the little and the how fiery she gets, if she how much firepower she can produce as well. Honestly, if Leylah Fernandez gets to a WTA Finals in her career, that would be incredible. She would be a massive crowd draw and feed off that environment.
For sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
She's someone who, even if you weren't there to watch her, because I remember that the match she played against Sabalenka at the US Open, like even if you're not there for her, she just has a way of drawing in the audience into her story and her style of play that is really great. Those little fist pumps are just so good. So good, because you can just tell she's talking to herself, but at the same time just emoting all that energy out that, you know, you root for her for sure.
Pegula's lost a little bit of a timing on her first serve.
What? How? Is it since the start of the match?
In this game, her first serves have been way off kilter.
It's not what she needs right now. She needs to be able to keep up with it.
Rybakina narrowly missed that screaming winner forehand.
Oh yeah, I'm ahead of you both, so I'm trying not to. I'm not planning on being here for the entire match, so I'm not doing my usual point by point. I'm letting you guys run the show here.
I'll take over for your point by point wisdom once you decide to parlay into other activities tonight.
Such a sleep.
Yeah, that's a great activity if you ask me.
Fair dues. Although having said that, you know, how much will I sleep when this WTA Finals is on? I mean, tell me how good matches are.
As much as I am always excited to watch women's tennis, and I do think there's a pool of great names and potential storylines, I still want to see it actually come through at the WTA Finals, because sometimes I've like bigged myself up for big WTA tournaments and matches, and they kind of go womp womp. And I'm not saying I foresee that happening at this Cancun WTA Finals. I just want to see a very, very clear electric moment, similar to what happened just a couple hours ago. Well, not a couple hours ago, but earlier today at the WTA
Elite Trophy.
Elite Trophy.
Haddad Maia and
oh my gosh,
Young.
Haddad Maia and Kim
good.
can win. Yes, I watched most of the second set and specifically was paying attention to every point when Jin Kim was down 3-5 and rallied all the way back to get it to 5-all and get it to the tiebreaker. That was electric, sparkling tennis from both of them, really.
Yeah, that was because I woke up to the score, and considering that Bea had, you know, not dropped a set throughout the whole tournament, it was easy to just sort of look at that score and say, well, you know, Bea just did the Bea thing, and you know, it went to, you know, exactly. And it just went to 6-all, and then they went to a tiebreak, and that was it. But I was like, you know what? I'm up. I'm actually going to watch the match. That was such an exciting match. It went back and forth. There were breaks in it, you know, because the score, you would think there were no breaks, and there were breaks in it. And to see Zen save those get the breaks back, and then it goes to tie break. It was close. It was close. I have to say that was actually closer than I thought. And 20 for both of them, because I was gonna say, you know, can't wait to see Qin Wen in 2024 and see what she can do. But both of them, in fact, it would be really interesting to see how they do and if they can keep it up. Because my thing with Bea is I get excited for her, and then there's a dip. And then I'm like, ugh. And then I get excited for her again, and then there's a dip, or, you know, an injury or something. So I think mostly for her, what she needs to figure out in sort of the, you know, and I don't know if this is sort of an Andy Murray thing, and it's just impossible to do, and she's just going to have 3-hour-long 2-setters, and that's just her life. But I think she needs to find a way to win easier, win faster, to keep her almost fresh, because I think mostly what happens to her is she plays these like 3-setters, and then her body catches up to her, you know. That's just what I think about that. But really exciting to see.
She's nowhere near as efficient as Rybakina can be.
Yeah, Rybakina's
She doesn't have a designated 1-2 punch like we just saw.
I'm not entirely sure Rybakina's being that efficient. She had an opportunity to break in that last game.
Well, just in general, I mean, in general, she's
Yeah.
a pretty efficient
And
player.
I've just seen her put a forehand well over the baseline and put herself in trouble here. Although
She's
I
been
think she's
doing-
aced that one, so yeah.
30
Yeah.
It's a bit of a sleepy start in this match. Like nothing super duper amazing. There've been a couple of scrambling points here and there, but it's a sleepy start in this match for sure.
Nick, what do you think about that forehand? Because she's been doing that all this match where you're just like, why are you swinging so wildly? And I can't tell what it is because it's not windy.
It's rust. I'm going to go with rust at the minute. Like she's just not in the swing of it. Yeah, she's just not found her comfort zone. I don't know whether she's had time to she's still getting, again, it's still quite that adaptability, right? She's not time to
hold here though.
Whatever's going on.
Chose for 4-3, which is good. They're still on serve. I think it's a tough ask for players to literally schedule their season. No, to hit the ground running, especially when you consider the fact that just 2 to 3 weeks ago they were literally on the other side of the country. Like Rybakina was competing in Beijing, Pegula was competing in Seoul, a lot of other players were competing in other tournaments in Asia. And like, yes, you know, the average person probably wouldn't feel well adjusted to the other side of the world that they're now living on in about 2 weeks. So to then go out there and ask to play elite level tennis is going to take a substantial amount of effort. And then also have to do with like the media stuff like we're seeing here on the screen, like having to take pictures and put on nice dresses and do all of that stuff when you could just be sleeping and acclimating to your new environment. It's tough. It's really tough.
I agree with you, Mars.
It's hard out there, but I mean, you know, it's hard, but I mean, the trophy at the end of the week and the paycheck and all those things, I would imagine lessen the blow or lessen the frustration of traveling so much, you know.
Well, so far this match has been fairly finely balanced. I mean, there's some aspects that you know, the players have been like letting the other one in a little bit, and there's some where they've kind of put the ball away and pulled off some good shots. Like Rybakina's forehand has either been missing or it's been hitting winners. JPEG's been scrambling and keeping herself in it and doing what JPEG does. Yeah, we're seeing Jessica Pegula fans in chat. We've had Elena Rybakina fans in chat. But these players do both have a lot of love, and I mean, I've not got any sound on. But I'm sure that despite the fact that they are taking a while, I don't think either of them have fully warmed up to their environment yet. Neither of them are kind of fully swinging yet. Let's see how this match goes. Let's see what happens when the pressure hits and who's going to step up. The crowd isn't
super invested either. They're kind of just like, let's feel it out. I mean, Rybakina and Pegula are in general players from the top of the year to the end of the year that don't give you much to engage with and really sink your teeth in matches. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. I'm just, you know, for anybody that's like, oh my God, Miles, you're saying that they're not good. They got good tennis players. They are good tennis players. They're just not maybe the most dynamic and full of persona and personality during their matches, you know?
Yeah. Again, they're very much focused on what's in front of them. And we've got an opportunity here for Rybakina again. Break points. Pegula's just put a backhand long on my screen for 15-40.
15-40.
So she's already dug herself out of a 15-40 before, has Pegula. Was it Pegula or Rybakina? No, it was Rybakina. It was
Rybakina dug herself out of 2 break points early on in the set.
Rybakina's already saved 2 break points. So yeah, both players have had opportunities this set to take control. Let's see if Rybakina is going to get this one this time. Puts Pegula under pressure to the backhand of Rybakina. Goes cross-court on the attack. Pegula's scrambling, can't help her. And Rybakina's now striding back, getting ready to serve for 5-3 and the first set.
Striding back. I like that.
Oh gosh, I did the thing, didn't I?
What's that?
I just took over.
I mean, you're giving us great. You're giving us great point-by-point play analysis. I don't mind at all.
Yeah, and for anyone in the chat who isn't actually watching, they can kind of get a feel of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this match has been a bit of a slow burn so far, but they've both produced a spectacular moment. I'll keep talking about that Jessica Pegula lob. Rybakina has been hitting some really good winners today. Actually, when she has been getting the swing in motion, as she puts that first serve, that sort of twist and hit motion, but then puts that forehand into the net from the mid court. 15, so love 15. Doesn't want to give the break back away.
I have some questions about Rybakina and Pegula going into 2024 that I want to ask you guys. If Rybakina closes out this set and serves it out here,
well, I'm planning on probably ducking out after this set.
Well, I'll be asking Anastasia and the viewers.
Excellent. Good plan. The viewers are they're generally more interesting than I am.
If you're listening, I have some questions for you.
and that's one of the best things about this platform is, anyone who's viewing doesn't have to just view. You can take part and chat and commentate with us. And if you want to keep doing that and come and join us if you're new here, then subscribe, follow on whatever platform you're watching on. A little bit of an opening here for Pegula at love 30, by the way. Rybakina's not efficiently closing this out, although that was a great backhand that Pegula couldn't live with, and it's 15-30. Starting to dig her way back in. Backing in the red kind of flowery dress. Fiery flowery dress. I don't know. It's already had some compliments from Anastasia and Miles.
I don't think I necessarily gave it a compliment. I just thought it was pretty bright and summery. I do think it's interesting, though, that Rybakina has gone from Nike to Adidas to Yonex in the span of a couple of seasons.
I had noticed. What I had noticed is she just put a backhand into the net, and it's 15-40, and suddenly Pegula's about to put this back on terms.
Those questions I have, I'm not going to take a back runner.
And Rybakina's gone long enough on the backhand. Multiple backhand errors.
Which is usually her more assured wing. That's interesting.
Which is interesting you say that, because I think we make more fuss about the Rybakina forehand than the backhand in terms of a weaponry. But the both are weapons, but it's the forehands that tends to get everyone kind of excited.
I think it's interesting because sometimes your biggest weapon can also be your biggest liability. Not to go too deep into the WTA Elite Trophy, but I felt the same way watching Jing Kin win. Like her first serve and her serve in general is a huge asset and weapon when it's being timed correctly and it's being effectively placed in the court. But when it's kind of losing its timing, it's a huge liability because she can rack up double faults, which is not helping her game at all. Whereas Rybakina, her forehand can, be taken early and can dictate from the middle of the court. But if she's not really firing and moving her feet efficiently around it, it can spray some errors. Whereas her backhand is a little bit more assured. Even if it isn't necessarily a penetrating shot, the backhand is going to get back in play more times than the forehand will if she's tight, in my mind.
And we could say similar things about the Iga Świątek forehand, which is a little bit of similar thing. A scarily shot on tour, one of the most iconic shots on the women's tour of active players.
But if you rush it though, it can be a place for errors.
Yeah, when she's rushed, she's in trouble, and she struggles to know what to do with it. Although Beijing, she coped a bit better than usual, which is an interesting point to note. I also missed Ghost of Garolatis, Sean, yes. Even if maybe he was probably a little too harsh on Pegula at times.
Wait, is Ghosty no longer with us?
I just haven't seen him for a while.
Oh, okay, got it.
So here's my thought on, because you both had different comments, and I'm just going to say something and you can both debate it. But I asked Nick about sort of the aridness of Rybakina's swings and why she's swinging wildly. Mostly I've been noticing the forehand, but we have had a couple of backhand errors here. And you pointed out it probably could be sort of adaptation, sort of rustiness because she hasn't played for a while. And then also Miles mentioned sort of players needing more rest. And, you know, it's only been 3 weeks since she played in Beijing. So which is it? Does she need more rest or is she rested?
Well, I think it could be a mixture of both because we don't live in the perfect world, unfortunately. Because if in a perfect world, she would have the rest and what was the other part? Not be rusty, I guess.
Right. And just sort of stay in that sort of, as you know, in kind of boxing or thing, you say stay in your fighting weight, you know, stay in that sort of, you know, conditioning, if you can.
But I also think it's interesting though, because although Nick made a point earlier in the set that she doesn't necessarily go for the lines, her game is still pretty linear, and she is trying to be the aggressor out there for more points than she isn't. She's not a defensive-minded player. So I do think when you walk onto the court knowing that you are trying to dictate the points, it does kind of put you at risk for being the person that makes the most unforced errors. It's kind of, you know, it's a double-edged sword. Like I would want to be the person that's dictating, but sometimes when you're dictating, you can run the risk of overhitting, like she just did on the backhand. You know, like a very simple backhand, she gets overhits and it goes 4 or 5 feet over the baseline. That's difficult to kind of manage sometimes, especially if you've been in Beijing 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago and you're rusty and the courts are sticky. Like it's just not a good combination.
Yeah. And with Rybakina, it's interesting that we're saying things because I completely agree. And with a lot of players who have a lot of power, the tendency is to overhit. The tendency is to do these things, and you know, it goes over the baseline. Rybakina's a lot more better at the most players who have a lot of power reining it in. That's why she's where she's ranked. It's not quite on display today so far. She's just missed another backhand trying to come in behind serve, love 15. But there was, but yeah, I think that in general, that's probably why she doesn't go for the lines, because she doesn't really need to. There's enough trajectory on that ball to do it. And actually, that's quite smart for someone who knows they've got a lot of natural ability to hit the ball hard. By the way, we're complimenting Rybakina's game. I just want to compliment Pegula in that last game for holding to 15. But during that, she dug out a brilliant backhand winner that looked really awkward to pick up, and she managed to produce something that Rybakina couldn't deal with off the back of it. So another sort of great shot from Pegula today. And they are, you know, when they're on, like when they are producing good shots, they are showcasing what they're good at in this match.
Yeah. Okay.
30-15, by the way, Rybakina forcing an error from Pegula. So trying to make sure she holds, because she really doesn't want to go from serving at 5-3 to suddenly having Pegula serving at 6-5. That would just be awkward.
That would be awkward.
Oh, she's just missed a backhand though. Wide, 30-all.
Yeah. That would feel like a Sinner Medvedev match.
I didn't see that.
I heard of, I was gonna say I missed a good one allegedly today.
Oh, that was just, you know, I called it yesterday where I was like, wow, another Daniil and Yannick final. Like this might be a thing. And then they delivered.
For this season.
Yeah. They delivered with like icing on top. It's one of those, it's worth a rewatch. Like it's worth just watching it again, because the back and forth nature of it was so entertaining, you know.
Things might be about to get awkward for Elena Rybakina. She's now serving at 30-40.
Well, here we are.
This has suddenly gone very, very awry for the Kazakhstan player. Serves into play, forehand, cross court to Pegula, keeps it short. Rybakina can't pick it up, puts it in the net, and Pegula's now serving for the first set. And I am very, and I might end up being very glad that midway through WTA Weekly, I switched my title prediction from Rybakina to Swiatek.
Oh, you did?
Did you switch that this week, like on the last episode of WTA
I
Weekly?
literally switched it whilst recording WTA Weekly.
Gotcha.
Because I went in going, Rybakina on paper has the, like, if you're looking at head-to-head favors her in pretty much every, against everyone else in the field, more or less. Pegula being some kind of exception, and I thought she might be making some inroads in that. I mean, I think she's down in the head-to-head with Arena as well, but again, she's won sets in pretty much every match they've played. So, and has won their last 2 matches. So I was thinking going into it, if I look just at head-to-heads, Rybakina's got the edge. And then the more I was talking on the stream, the more I was like, yeah, but Iga's got momentum. So I switched.
Yeah.
John went with Arena.
I see. Yeah, I was going to say I'm with John. I went with Arena, but in my heart, I really want Sakari to win because she just seems like a good person. It needs
Let's face it, in our heart, we would love Sakari to win.
Yeah, just like she's heart and head is Arena. There we go.
That's not how I look at my heart. For me personally, I just speak for myself. For me, my heart would actually love to see Coco lift the trophy and kind of cement the second half of the season really like I'm a top 3, maybe top 2 player. I'd love to see that. But just for pure chaos and pure chaos / to maybe set up the storylines of 2024, I'd like to see Sakari, Pegula on, or maybe Vondrousova win it. Just because I think Vondrousova maybe is at the bottom of the run because she already won Wimbledon this year, but those other 3 have had good seasons enough to qualify, but this would very much so be the biggest trophy in their trophy cabinet. I just want to see how they play with like either that confidence behind them or the pressure of kind of being like a player to watch in Grand Slams and 1000 for
oh my word. This is a weird point. That is just a mad point. So Pegula's been serving bombs this first 2 points of the game. First, then the first serve goes in. Rybakina shanks it because it's so good, but somehow it kind of picks up and lands in the court. Pegula's not expected to land in the court. They then end up in this weird cat and mouse rally. Elena gets herself up in the point and then misses a shot.
And misses it. I just saw that play out. Yeah, that's funny. She had the whole court and missed that backhand.
Yeah, which kind of encapsulates the set a little bit. Jane's asking how the courts are playing. I would say not too dissimilar to what we'd expect from Guadalajara or Indian Wells.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, that's really Nick. He did it again. But that's like really 2 good comparisons, Guadalajara and Indian Wells, like even conditions wise as well in terms of just the weather, atmosphere. Very, very similar.
Which it would be, right? For the part of the world it's in. You would expect that.
You would expect it. Like sometimes I don't think the courts maybe, but it's definitely jiving in that direction.
But if it does evolve, like we've been talking, by the way, Rybakina's put a forehand over the baseline, so it's game and first set Pegula. Manuel confident Rybakina will still win though and come back, which she still could. This has been a close match if she gets it together. We could do that, but like if there's court involution happening, it may end up being more like a Miami by the end of it.
I see what you're saying there. Although, like, Miami is so humid, like, it's like
which I think it is here as well.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know. Well, it's different because it's the other side of Mexico.
Well, this is really Pegula winning this first set is in keeping with my chaos theory, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying Anastasia and I were saying before, like whoever wins this match is probably getting out of the group.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Sabalenka probably wants to say something about that.
I didn't say win the group; I said getting out of the group.
Oh, gotcha. Because there's 2. Gotcha.
Yeah.
In terms of just to finish the thought on the weather thing, I've always seen sort of the West Coast as more of a drier climate than humid. So that's why I kind of am saying Cancun maybe is a little drier than Miami.
Fair.
Like that sort of soupiness kind of adds a little bit to Miami's, which is why I think it's actually
Soupiness.
very difficult to do the sort of Indian Wells
The
Miami
The
double,
Sunshine Double, yeah.
because the conditions are just so different that the fact that some people have done it is actually pretty impressive, you know.
Cancun is, I mean, I want to say Cancun is far from Miami, but it's actually just a pretty decent enough boat ride from the tip of Miami to Cancun. Cancun is right on the bottom, or the top part of the Yucatan Peninsula. Yeah. Is that what it's called? Yucatan Peninsula, yeah, which goes into the Gulf of Mexico. So I actually would think the Cancun and Miami conditions would be similar-ish. Definitely not California-ish, but more Miami-ish. But this time of the year, it's definitely different from April when Miami plays, and it's not in the middle of like spring. So, but there have been some tropical depressions or tropical makeups and stuff in that area, which happen in the Gulf of Mexico all the time.
Yeah,
yep.
Guadalajara got hit by what's that? What is it called?
Acapulco just got hit by something too. Somebody sent me a link to like the actual stadium being flooded at Acapulco where the men play the ATP 500. But Acapulco is more. Where's Acapulco in Mexico? Sheesh, the world is so vast.
Much as I mean, well, whilst you guys work out your North American geography, of which I have zero knowledge, I am gonna leave you both. I've enjoyed watching this first set with you both. It's been great. I need the opportunity to talk tennis with you both, but I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of this match, and I will leave all you lovely viewers in their company.
Bye.
Always fun, Nick. Take care. You guys, I just feel very vindicated in my geography because Shonda Rubin in my ear just said that Cancun is off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. And that was just fate. I didn't know that she was going to say that.
Nice.
How are you watching, by the way, Anastasia? Are you watching the Tennis Channel too?
Oh, yeah. But I'm on Plus. I don't
Yeah.
Their
I don't think there's any other way to watch it in North America. I mean, unless you like I guess the quote unquote legal way. I don't think there's any other way to stream it. I think it's the exclusive. I think Tennis Channel is the exclusive home of the WTA Finals this year.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm on the app like Tennis Channel Plus versus like channel that's on like you can get it on YouTube TV or through your cable subscription. I don't have cable, so I just do apps.
Gotcha.
I really wish they were just. I mean, of course, if the WTA was still on tennis TV, then I would only have one service.
Yeah, I hope they merge that sooner rather than later.
I don't know why they left in the first place. So that's on them. I'm so sorry. That is on them.
So let's see. Rybakina is serving at 15:30 here. In this opening servers game of the second set. They're in a backhand-to-backhand rally, which I think is the best part of this match so far, is their backhands. And Rybakina goes just long with the forehand in the middle of the rally, and it is 2 break points right out of the gate for Pegula to go up a break in the second set.
Yeah.
Rybakina just a little bit loose, a little bit like just a little bit loose. I don't know how else to put it. Her shots are going like 3-4 feet long and just not reining it in right now.
Sorry, I'm just answering Jane, but Jane, Tennis TV is so much better. They have less of a lag. And I just like the layout of the app is better on Tennis TV. They just do it a little bit better than Tennis Channel.
Pegula took that first break point, by the way, so up 1-love in the second set. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point that John's making in the chat about Rybakina not having a super amount of motivation. That's what I mean when I watch Rybakina play. I know you said it earlier, Anastasia, that she doesn't give you anything. Because she doesn't, I question, like, where is the motivation coming from? Not that everybody needs to have outward, but I think it's better to have something rather than nothing,
Right. And I'm not looking at it in terms of how she plays. There is something about Rybakina that puts me off a little bit, which some people like. Some people tend to think it's like, oh, look at Rybakina, like, show the WTA what's up, and look at her, mention about I'm like, why are you so focused about the build of the stadium and whatever else? And then you come out on play like this. Like, what am I? If it was Iga saying all of this, I'd be like, great, Iga's going to come and smash it. But here we are. And the whole sort of, oh, the players need rest. I am all for that. Rybakina hasn't played in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. We saw all sorts of players like prepping in their, like, Sabalenka put out all these videos of her practicing in Miami while she wasn't playing the exact same 3 weeks. Like, what did we see from Rybakina? Nothing but, stadium complaints. So I don't know. You know what it is? You have to show it to me on court for me to just listen to anything you're saying. And what she's showing right now, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not getting it. I don't understand.
Yeah. John is still making some good points about like her not having number one on the line. She's not won a Grand Slam this year, although she did make the finals of Australia. She's not had a bad season by any stretch of the imagination, because here she is in this Elite Eight competition. But where's the extra motivation to dig out that extra ball to make sure you get your hands on the trophy? I'm not sure she has that this week.
Then don't come. So sorry. Don't come. Do you know what like? That's the part I think we were talking about this. Miles does this sort of Twitter, like voice stream thing that I was part of. One
Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Spaces. There we go. That's what it's called. And we were mentioning FAA and how his season has been really bad, but he keeps coming. Like he lost how many first round matches in a row, and he just kept at it. And we were comparing it obviously to sort of a Nick Kyrgios, and how like probably you wouldn't do that. He would lose one and be like, I'm out of tennis forever. Rybakina gives me those vibes. Not that she's like, oh, I'm out of tennis forever, but if she's not being sort of on top of it and exalted or something, she's kind of out of it, which I'm like, if you show it on court, that's all you need to do. Just show your tennis on court.
I see what you mean, but I put it in terms of, for Rybakina to be relevant, like for there to be relevant and Rybakina in the same sentence, she needs to be actively winning and lifting trophies. If she's not, then I don't want to say I completely forget about her, but I don't even put her in the equation of a potential winner unless she's literally winning, which is a weird space to be in. Sometimes players, I'm trying to get better at not always using Serena as an example, but for lack of a better different example in my mind, even when Serena was ranked 15, 50, or 1, you knew in some way, shape, or form when she got it together, she was going to be a factor in a tennis tournament, whether she was 50, 15, or 1. Rybakina doesn't give me that same exact vibe. I know that's a really, really big contrast, but some players, whatever their ranking, they're going to be on court ready to give it their all. Yeah. Rybakina is a little hit and miss.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of highlight, I think John did put it up, but what Catherine in the chat said, I am so sad, Catherine, so sad that Prime is losing tennis in the UK, because that was my other sort of backup, because as a Prime subscriber, if you use a VPN and just say you're in the UK, you can watch all those matches. And that's what I usually did, because I like the British commentary better sometimes. So I just like to watch.
It's more educated.
Especially when tennis is in the UK. So for all like the sort of, in Europe, like during the clay court season and then into Wimbledon, like Queens and everything. I'm going to miss that so much. And it's such a bummer. When I heard that,
it always feels like tennis tennis doesn't have a great track record with their contracts in broadcasting and media. It's very like, oh, we'll be here for like 4 or 5 years, but after that, you won't see us for 10 more years, or Tennis Channel. Although I have my gripes with it, Tennis Channel has been a very linear. We can expect tennis on this channel, but I mean, of course, it should be because it's called the Tennis Channel.
Right. And for me, I think in the UK, I think so. Tennis went to Sky, which I guess for more of, I don't know what sort of the prime numbers are in the UK, but probably for more of a broader appeal, it should be on Sky. I don't know, but either way, I was kind of bummed because I had Prime and I could have watched.
Rybakina's bummed. Rybakina is going to be bummed herself if she loses this next game. It's 30-30 all on her serve, and Pegula's won the last 6 games in a row since Rybakina served forward at 5-3. It's kind of went by kind of quickly in a way, but Pegula definitely has all the momentum in this match. Rybakina definitely needs to hold serve here. 30 all. She's walking up to the service line to see if she can kind of stop the bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
Wildly missed first serve, second serve incoming. Hi, trainer. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Pegula is just, I mean, she's not, I don't want to say just content with letting Rybakina miss, but she's doing her job of kind of asking the questions and getting that extra ball back like she's doing in this point. Yeah, that was a great point from Rybakina. That was one of her best point constructions of the match, especially the second set. Ended it with a forehand winner, and Pegula was asking plenty of questions of her to keep that ball in court. Vegas Dev said, problem with Rybakina is that there's really no plan B if she can't hit through her opponent. I would be inclined to agree with that. She definitely doesn't have the guile to bring you in, lob you, slice and dice you, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Amazing return of serve from Pegula. Just smacked it back before Rybakina could even get ready. Wow.
She has been, so I'm still behind on my stream, so I just saw the point you were talking about at 30-30. And she has been trying to do that where she just tries to run Pegula across the, from side to side. It didn't work in the first set, but that one worked when she tried it there.
She just went up ad in this game right here, and the scoreboard just ticked to her winning this game. So she probably was, I'm sure she was efficient in this next point. Sorry guys if we're a little bit behind, but I mean, Anastasia's in the East Coast, I'm in Central Time, and neither of us are in Cancun. So this is what we are. Right. This is what we got.
This is tennis, baby. It's worldwide.
Right. Worldwide. I'm going to knock on wood right now. I'm going to knock on wood right now and say a little prayer tonight that we get an actual rollout and announcement of a WTA Finals event next season, and the WTA stops this redundant waiting until the last month.
I can almost guarantee you that it will happen, and it's because it's going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that little last part is not great, but I do want there to be.
Yeah.
I want there to be like an official. I want there to be an official race. Like, I don't want there to be just like, if you look at certain apps, the ATP always has the ATP race to Turin because they know that's where they're going. They're contracted to play there. The WTA has not had a city of substantiated
race to
interest. Jeddah. Yeah, I mean, even though the human rights in Saudi Arabia are questionable at best, it'll be nice to just know where the girls are going. Except maybe more than a month ahead of time, because all of these women, unless they heard it through the grapevine in the WTA corridors, they didn't know where the WTA finals were going to be held until we did, So that's last minute ticketing, last minute accommodations and stay and all of that stuff, which is just not efficient for an elite organization that's supposed to prioritize women's tennis. Just not good.
Yeah. again, I think I mentioned this during whatever last stream I was, but you know, as the men qualify for their finals, their faces projected on a building in Turin. Like that's
that's
you
great.
can't. They've sold out tickets.
Yeah, because you know where it is going to be, and by the time you get past Wimbledon, you have an idea of who's going to qualify. Those first 3 winners of the Grand Slams, and probably the people that have won 1000s, are most likely going to be there. So you can buy with a very stern knowledge of what kind of entertainment level you're going to get. You know, whereas the WTA
sold out for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
There are a few days, I think they announced it recently, all the days that had sold out. And again, that's just from the buildup. Like, you're creating a story. An audience needs to go.
Making us care.
As much as we all love tennis as a sport, like, I think the audience still needs to be able to say, okay, I'm going there because Alcaraz and Novak have been fighting all year and they're both in here. There's a possibility that we might see an epic final, so we're going to go. They need that. They need to know why they're spending thousands of dollars on tennis tickets. Why are people spending thousands of dollars on tennis tickets in Cancun? Could not know why. I mean, really, it's kind of like the Iga Coco storyline, but nobody sold that to anybody. You know, you have to sort of go dig that out yourself. And the WTA has tons of stories that they could sell to people, but, you know, I don't know.
What do we get? Nothing, or little to nothing.
I think they just need, well, I really struggle, because I really struggle to think money is an issue. You can do
with the WTA.
Yeah, you can do production on a very tight budget. You can do very good and smart production on a very tight budget.
If you give the right digital content team and marketing coordinator and all of the different roles and stuff that go with that, 2 iPhones and a what do you call the thing that cameras sit on, a tripod, and you know, a small, not even 6-figure budget, I think you can get out some content that creates a story about the sport. But we don't even get that sometimes. So, you know.
Catherine, you're totally right again. Catherine nailed it. So Vegas Dev, definitely agree with you. And Catherine, yes, if you gave it to a Paris or a London, you would, I mean, tickets would be sold out. But you're also right. Like, production can be done with so little, but they're not. I still don't know why. I don't know if it's sort of a lack of imagination or.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems so harsh, like lack of imagination, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't see what else. Lack of imagination and fervor to do better. But it's interesting that this is all culminating in the season where they're celebrating 50 years of being a substantiated and actual recognized elite organization for women's tennis. Like, that's not a way you want to celebrate 50 years of something.
Yeah. Did you see that clip it? And I think it came from Iga's social media of her singing at the table.
I saw that little clip. I mean, it didn't move me, but I'm sure there's a group of people who felt moved by it.
Right.
I don't think I knew what she was singing.
She was like, the song was about Mexico, and she was like, hey, Mexico.
Oh, sorry. Great point by Pegula to hold. She hits a
nice.
Great screaming passing shot.
Oh, cool. 3-1
Pegula in the second set. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's probably about to happen on my screen because I'm at 30-40. But that video was gotten from Iga's social media and then shared around by people clipping it and then, you know, showing it around. That same video, if that had been an ATP player, ATP official Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, would have it everywhere. It would not be able, if that was Carlos Alcaraz singing, wow. We would not have been able to stop seeing it. And it would be from official sources.
Eurosport would have picked it up.
Eurosport would have picked it up. ESPN would have been like, oh my God. And here we are clipping it from Iga's social media and sharing it like
and then random, not to like drag bots on the internet, but like unofficial third party random accounts that you really can't track to any credible source are the ones sharing it and engaging with it in high numbers. And it's like that stuff is great, but like the actual outlets that have an organized idea of how to get content out there from official mediums, if they're not even caring, then it's like, well, does it really matter?
There was another clip today, and it was Djokovic and what's his name? No, not Alcaraz. No. Monfils. And they were on a practice court and they were doing the wave. They were dancing, doing the wave on a practice court. I'm sure that sort of stuff happens all the time on the WTA. Like they all practice together. I'm sure they all have funny moments. I see Arina Sabalenka posting a lot of those herself or whatever. But no, they had the official tournament camera people there. They caught it. They posted it and they put it everywhere. It's on Instagram.
Oh, wow. Rybakina is setting up points very well, but missing the put away. She just bricked the open court volley. I mean, there was no way Pegula was going to win that point unless Rybakina bricked the volley, and that's exactly what she did. Man, that was one of the better points that she had constructed to get Pegula on the run and put her in a very defensive standpoint. But even her coach is like, "What are you doing?" Her coach is like, has his hands up, like, what are you doing? 15-30 for Rybakina. Oh, but she comes back. Goes right back to the line. Gets a really great serve that Pegula can't get back up.
I just saw the point, and literally her coach is like,
"What are you doing? Like, what is going on?" You couldn't have asked for an easier volley.
I'm dead. Her coach is like,
Sean, if I have to wait for the 100-year celebration of the WTA's organization being founded, that's another 50 years from now. So I'll be 70, finally waiting for the WTA to have a great moment. I don't think so. At 70, if the WTA has not had a big shining, we're here and here to stay moment, I don't think we're ever going to get it. Oh, another low ball from Rybakina that she misses in the net and creates another break point for Pegula, 30-40.
Okay, I'll be her coach.
I have to be fair, it was an awkwardly put shot on that forehand wing that Pegula put at Rybakina's feet, but she netted it.
Yeah. I'm just catching up with the chat now. John, Cape Town would be epic. Cape Town would be epic. That would be really, really great.
I'm here for one more tournament in Africa, wherever it is. Definitely need more representation there.
Yeah. And Vegas, you are correct. They had, and I think they still have a chance to nail that sort of promo. But when Coco Gauff won the US Open, you could not have asked for a better thing to happen. You know, it's so sellable.
Literally 1 year after Serena retires, you get somebody who's literally said that they've looked up to her all her life, win the very first major of their career the same way Serena did, 19 or teenager, and like we haven't heard a real significant peak from the WTA about it. Like no real significant peak.
Yeah.
Like of course Coco got some much needed, advertisement and stuff from it, but it hasn't come from the association that she competes under. They're not doing anything besides a tweet that says congratulations, Coco. Like, okay, I could have done that. I have done that,
Yeah.
It's crazy. By the way, Pegula broke. Yeah, up 4-1 in the second set.
JPEG doing it. She's doing it. Sorry, who else is in this group? Let's refresh our knowledge here.
Sakari and Sabalenka are in this. Speaking of groups, do we know why they're named that? I don't get it. The Bachler group. What does that mean? What is Bachler? I'm sure it's I'm sure it's something related to Cancun or Mexico, but I personally have no idea. Let's Google. So what is Bachler?
And this is what I thought it was. It is a municipality in Mexico. So I think
it's a town in
Yeah.
southeastern Mexico near the Belize border, and Belize is so close to Cancun. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that's
Bacalar.
what their areas in Mexico. But
Gotcha. So the Bacalar group is Pegula, Rybakina, Sabalenka, and Sakari, and the other group that I don't have a name for, which plays tomorrow, is Ons Jabeur, Vondrousova, Swiatek, and Coco Gauff.
okay.
Mhm.
Are we going to stream the next match?
I don't think John is going to be producing in the background, so I think I might just do a Twitter space while it happens. I think I might jump over to Twitter.
Okay.
Pegula is close to the finish line, but she's in a little bit of a hole in the service game. Love 30. Thanks, John.
Oh, John's. Yeah, thanks, John. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, we can get the score back up. But okay, so that's
And I also feel like Sabalenka and Sakari might give us a little bit more of a jolt of energy from the beginning, but we'll see. We'll see.
So Rybakina has break points here, so she can take one of those breaks back.
Rybakina does have 2 break points back.
Pegula saves one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Oh, I thought that was double fault. Yikes! I was about to say that wasn't great. Mm. Yeah, if Rybakina wants to hang around this match, she needs to break back right here. She just doesn't like to John's earlier point. She doesn't look motivated. Like she's playing some pretty B average tennis, but it's not enough to Pegula, who also isn't playing necessarily out of her shoes. Pegula, but she's doing enough and keeping the balls in play that she needs to in the important points, and she brings it back to deuce. Yeah, Rybakina's timing is so off. It's really, really off. She's lost. It's hurt in my ear. She's lost 8 of the last 9 games. That's not good, no matter how you slice it.
No, that for me, I think I can't because they were interviewing the girls about sort of their time, and a few of them definitely commented on the fact that they didn't get enough practice time or whatever. And I can't remember who was the one who said it now, who was like
Sabalenka. I've saw that clip. Sabalenka said just very firmly, like, this is not WTA Finals level, and that was that was kind of her statement about it. She definitely said that it is what it is. She's going to try to make the best of it because this is what we have to do, but it's just not
I'm
up
so
to
sorry.
level.
Is Ghost back in the chat?
He is. I see Ghost
Stop
of Virlatis.
Sorry, breaking news. Breaking news. Ghosty, it's with the comment of the century. Ghosty, where have you been, buddy? This. I mean, every day someone asks for you.
Oh wow! Okay, another deep return from Rybakina that Pegula can't get out of the way of, and break point again, Rybakina.
Ooh.
If Rybakina is going to even attempt to make a comeback, she needs to hold, or she needs to break. Excuse me, in this game, she has to. 5-1 looks way different from 4-2.
But what I was going to say before Ghost.
Oh wow, that's crazy. She just gave away another easy return just over the edge of the baseline. What were you going to say? I'm sorry, Anastasia.
Sorry. No, they've all had the same amount of time. They've all had the same amount of time on court. So I don't really think the whole sort of adaptation, new court, new place kind of thing is the reasoning for Rybakina's current like level of playing, I would say.
That makes sense. Yeah, nobody has gotten like an extra week on this surface. So
Exactly.
if one person's struggling, they're all going to have to deal with the same things that is making that person struggle. So I get it.
Yeah. Ooh, but it looks she
Rybakina,
did
excuse me,
back.
Pegula's not. Yeah, she did break back. Pegula definitely played some sloppy points to give it right back to Rybakina, or give one of the breaks right back to her.
Oh, Ghosty, that makes sense. That does make sense. Were they see-through?
Rybakina took advantage of Pegula being loose towards the end of that game, and she got one of the breaks back. 2-4. She stopped that streak of games, by the way, too.
Yeah. Ooh, I like Nigel's differing opinion there. He says, I do think it affects different styled players differently. Good point. That's a good point,
Would
Nigel.
agree.
Ghosty, I don't have those sort of powers, because if I did, oh, what I would do if I could do that. Ghosty, never leave us again without a warning, okay?
Hi, Nigel, by the way. Thanks for watching. I think I just heard that Rybakina's won 53 singles matches this year, and she's come back from losing the first set 6 times. That might have been, I'm pretty sure that was Rybakina. So it doesn't seem like it's something she made a good habit out of this year.
Right. Not at the moment.
She's starting, oh man, I was going to say until she missed that backhand in the net. She's starting to open up her shoulders just a little bit, but she just can't find her timing.
Mm. Nigel, I don't know for sure, but Miles, what do you think? Do you think the court's playing slowly? It doesn't seem fast to me.
It definitely isn't quick. It looks sticky. That's probably why Rybakina is getting frustrated. Because sometimes when the court is sticky, the ball can kind of check, and that can really affect your timing, as well as if you're used to your ball being accelerated going through the court. It gives just that little bit of fraction more time for Pegula to get her extra racket on the ball, which has basically been the story of this match. Ghosty's funny. 30 all. Big point here at 2-4. Rybakina serving. Oh, and she misses another easy middle of the court forehand to give Pegula break point. Just missed forehands in really crucial points. I mean, that was such an easy forehand. I mean, a loopy middle of the court forehand that just goes long from Rybakina.
What's Rybakina's coach's name? Do we know?
No
John.
idea.
Mr. John. Because we could just rename me.
Oh, great forehand winner from Pegula to break right back 5-2. She really accelerated on her forehand right there. Up a set in 5-2. Stefano Vukov is Rybakina's coach. Thanks to John in the chat.
Thank you. I feel him at the moment. I feel him.
Like, what's going on?
I think he just loves this hand gesture. He's doing it in that third picture. He's just like,
yeah, I'd be doing it too if Rybakina was just like, what? Like, what?
What? Every time she just sprays that forehand, it's just. Okay. Okay, JPEG. She's someone who I think, especially this year, is trying to, you know, and it's so odd saying about Pegula, but trying to level up a bit because I've always seen her as a consistent person. She's just consistently in the draw. She's consistently in the final eight. She just is that presence. But I think she's trying to switch it up a bit and level up, which has been nice to see this season. So I think the commentary I just heard was she's actually never won a match in finals before. Are they correct in saying that?
Pegula, yes, she only qualified last season, and last season she went 0-3 along with Coco. So yeah, this would be her first win at WTA Finals.
So, in sort of in her theme
this
of
would also this is like, actually this is interesting. This is both of their this is not Pegula's first match. This will be her first match win, whereas this is Rybakina's first match at WTA final level. Period. Yeah. Oh wow, Pegula got some luck. A net court just dribbled over. 15 love Pegula.
Because she didn't get the points from Wimbledon. That's why she didn't qualify.
Yep, that's exactly why.
Okay.
And she didn't do much else after Wimbledon either. I think she got to the final of a 250 and she lost to Katerina Siniakova, but that was between Wimbledon and that final of a 250. That was nothing else in her season to kind of make her qualify. I do like Rybakina's cross-court forehand when it's being timed well, but it hasn't been timed well. Oh, and she just missed a really, really critical overhead. She missed it wide. Yeah, she just looked unmotivated when she went up for it.
You know the vibe she gives me? She's just like, why am I even playing tennis?
Yeah, exactly. That's what she gives. I mean, I don't think that that's what's really going on in her head, but the body language, the eyes, the stuff that she isn't saying makes me really question where's the intensity and fire. I'm sure it's there somewhere, but I just think she's one of those people where you have to squint to see it, and that's not my flavor of sport, Yeah. I want to be able to walk across you and be like, oh, this person absolutely wants to be winning this match. And I can feel that just walking on the grounds. I don't think Rybakina will ever be that kind of fire and intensity in her. But Pegula has put some fire and intensity in this match, and she has 3 match points here at 5-2. Trying to close it out on serve without too much fuss.
Not JPEG.
And she closed it out. She closed it out. No fuss. Yeah. First WTA Finals match win for Jessica Pegula.
And she's playing doubles tonight.
She is with Coco, right?
Yeah. They're just like, she plays a lot of tennis.
She's so used to that, though. She reminds me of Elena Yankovic. Elena Yankovic in the 2000s used to say this on record that she did not like practicing, that she would literally pick up her bags and go from Monastir to Jingzhou and then from Jingzhou to Rome if she needed to avoid like actual practice on the court. And Pegula, I don't know if she does it to that extent, but she seems like she'd much rather be doing like some tactical things in doubles instead of like spending time on court practicing. That's the vibe I get. I could be wrong, but
yeah,
some players are like that. Some players are just not interested in kind of like the mindless, feeding a ball to me, kind of that stuff in practice. They want to actually compete and get better. So
yeah.
But yeah, first match win at WTA Finals for Pegula.
Yeah, I'll agree with Nigel there. This match did not do it, did not do it for me. Nice to see JPEG win it, but I just wasn't getting anything from her opponent. So it seemed kind of like blah. So there we are. There we go.
Well, guys, you just watched us and listened to us walk through the opening singles match of the 2023 WTA Finals in Cancun. Pegula beat Rybakina in straight sets in Group Bacalar. Did I pronounce that correctly? Bacalar?
Bacalar. Bacala.
Yes. The other singles match tonight is going to be between reigning Australian Open champion and current world number 1 Arina Sabalenka versus Maria Sakkari, who got into the WTA finals just by the chin of her, or the hair of her chin, when Karolina Mukova pulled out. So that'll be an interesting match. I am 90% certain that I'm going to hop over to X/Twitter to do a live watch along of that match. It's like an audio format. If you're not familiar with Twitter Spaces, you can follow me on Twitter at Tuned Into Tennis, and we'll be talking about that match. So we're going to hop off of here. If you haven't already, make sure you do me a favor and John, our host at Talking Tennis, a favor to subscribe and like this video. That helps us grow immensely as a channel and gives us, me, Miles, David, and Anastasia, even wider platform to talk tennis on. We much appreciate that. Any final words, Anastasia, before we head out of this stream?
Really great win for JPEG. I hope the next match is a little bit more exciting. But
I think we're gonna. I don't think we heard one come on in this match. We might hear like 2 or 3 in the next match.
I really, at least give me like a half a come on, just a half, just half a come on. But props to the people who put this stadium together in 8 days. 8 days. I think it was about 8 days or so. So it's standing.
We'll see if it withholds a strong gust of wind. We'll see.
It can do it. It can do it. I just hope it doesn't get too windy.
Yeah. I hope we get some good tennis. This wasn't an amazing start in the Pegula and Rybakina match, but I mean, you got to start somewhere. So hopefully the intensity and match quality revs up throughout the week. So thanks for joining us here again, guys, at Talking Tennis. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video if you've enjoyed the content. And feel free to follow me over on Twitter so we can talk about the next match. And looking forward to a tremendous week of women's tennis in Cancun. So signing out. Cheers.
Welcome back, Ghosty.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Welcome back, Ghosty. And talk to you all later. Bye.